So okay, I am repeating something. Listen carefully. We had some discussion when function is analytic, and I we had calculated if function is analytic, I can give you a point. Hey, this function is analytic at this point z naught. Then we had some process of extending this function from point z naught, right, up to its first singularity, right? Meaning we were extracting it, we were stretching it out, right? We want to look at its geometry, I mean how much solid it have with respect to the point z naught. But here we have given a series. So how do we find the radius of convergence? The answer is very simple. We have in the BSc first year or second year, we had calculated the, we know the Cauchy nth root test, right? So in your exam, whenever if function is given, when you are write the GRE or NVHM, there they will give you function. In your CSIR, at most many times they always give you series form, right? So here how to calculate the radius of convergence? Simply, whenever a function fz is written, n is greater than or equal to 0, an z to power n or z minus z naught power n, then the radius of convergence will be, and okay, so this will come out an z minus z power n whole power n, take the supremum, okay, it should be strictly less than or equal to 1.
है ना, मैं बस ये कह रहा हूँ कि जो जैसे होगा वो पता।
Again, see an z minus z naught power n whole power n, take the supremum, this should be less than or equal to 1. Or simply, what we are doing basically, we are stretching out our solid from the point z naught. So we can take it here. So simply, what is this? This is the distance from point z naught. So z minus z naught is equal to, this is, we are telling this is the radius of convergence r. This will come out 1 upon supremum over an power 1 by n, the limit, right? This will be our radius of convergence. So do not learn the formula that 1 upon supremum an upon an plus 1 something something. So you don't need to do that. What if we are going, whenever I have given a function, then definitely we don't need to do this. If function is not given, if series is given, directly apply 1 over n less than or equal to 1 and just calculate this distance. That's why I catch it here left side. So we want to calculate this distance from the z naught. Okay, so let's see. I can give you the answers also. So this is the CSIR problem, or they will ask. So the first option is the radius of convergence. The first option is root 2. Second option is 2. Third option is 2 root 2. And the fourth option is root 2 1. This is CSIR problem. Okay. So what we should do, tell me, this is a series, what we should do, 2 raised to the power minus n, z power n, take whole power n, simply take the supremum, or you put outside of the supremum, how much it should be? This is less than or equal to 1, right? So, see, this will come out, mod z, this will be cancelled out, is equal to 1 upon 2 raised to the power, okay, 2 raised to the power minus n, right? And we need the supremum. And go. Tell me, how much will you get? Is it all right? Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So 1 upon n also will be there, right? So what will be this? This will be simply 2. It is all right to everyone? Let me repeat again. Whenever I have series is given, just take 1 over n less than or equal to 1. This n will be cancelled out, simply you will get mod z, and mod z is nothing, this is the distance from 0. It meaning that if this telling that this series this tells us, hey, if you are stretching out from 0, once you reach at the 2, if you start stretching out from the 0, at the point 2 will be the singularity of the function. Meaning you cannot cross the 2. Inside the radius 2, center 0, this inside this expansion, or this is the expansion of analytic function, both will agree to each other. Again I am writing, the radius of convergence 2 means definitely it will represent an analytic function, and the analytic function and this approximation will be equal to each other inside this unit. Okay, and if you are remember little bit uniform convergence, then I can tell you inside this unit disk it will uniformly same. The power series interpretation and the function will be exactly same. Okay, anybody have any doubt? Anybody, please let me know if you have any doubt.
लो तो डाल दो.
Okay, thank you. Shall I erase this? So let me check some messages are there. Some people are asking some doubt. Anshu Gupta, please mute your mic. Okay, all right. Okay, so let us write some more question. Okay, just we can change some slightly in this question. Let's see what happens. So instead of taking that question, you take expansion n is greater than or equal to 0, 2 raised to the power minus n, z raised to the power 2n, or shall I write 2 to the power n? Anyway, keep it to n. Then radius of convergence. The first option is root 2, second option is 2, 3, 4 option is 2, and one more option is 1. The answer is very simple. This is given. Do not learn any formula, okay? So this will come out 2 raised to power minus n, z raised to the power 2n, whole power 1 by n. Take the supremum, right, over limit. This should be less than or equal to n. Okay, and the limit, what it will come out, this will come out, z raised to the power 2 is less than or equal to 1 upon 2 raised to the power minus n raised to the power 1 by n, limit n goes to infinity over the supremum. If you see that this will be nothing, this will come out to 2. So mod z square is 2. This implies that z minus 0 is equal to under root 2. This implies that this is a series from center 0 to radius 2 So the first singularity is occurring at the root after a distance root 2. So if there are slight changes, in beginning it was 2n, sorry, in beginning I had z power n, now I change z power 2n. So it's slightly, so radius of convergence is right. So this is a disk, center 0, radius under root 2.
Sir, that means root 2 is the maximum radius where the function is analytic. No?
No. Do not think the other way around. From 0
Yes,
till
sir.
root 2, the function and this power 3 will agree everywhere. Outside, we do not know.
Outside is not analytic because we find out the
You
first
cannot say
singularity
outside
is
not
there.
analytic, first of all.
Yes, sir.
In mathematics, you cannot make the conclusion out of our domain. You can do everything inside. Of course, there may be similarity somewhere else, but we cannot say what's going to happen outside. Outside may be analytic, so do not
Yes.
confuse it. They will ask, just ask. This function can be analytic outside or not. I'm going to write a question on it. Very nice question you asked. Okay. So outside can be analytic.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Please mute your mind. So, is there something special about Z2 and something? No, nothing special. What I mean that if radius of convergence of a series an z power n is r, then radius of convergence of n greater than or equal to 0 an z raised to the power nk or n power k is, the first option is r, second is r square, the third one is r raised to the power k, the fourth one is k power r. So the answer will be third, right? Answer will be third. You can calculate also. See, we want to calculate the radius of convergence. Simply an z power n is whole power 1 by n less than or equal to 1. This implies that z to the power k, z minus 0 raised to the power k is less than or equal to 1 upon an raised to the power 1 by n limit n goes to infinity. This is given r, right? This whole is r. So z minus 0 is equal to r. So z minus 0, it will come out r raised to the power 1 by k. Oh. Yes, right. So put 1 over k. See, if you are increasing the power, it will come out at kth root of r, right? So my motive is what I am telling, that you do not is repeat the formula, know the process so that you can calculate. And if you are learning, some people teach you an upon en plus 1, bn upon cn plus 1, something like that. That will confuse you too much. To directly always apply the Cauchy nth root test, that will be the fine. Okay, all right. So, people have some question. I think I can look at it again. Why we are taking limit supremum is less than 1? Yes, so somebody asking why we are taking the limit supremum is less than or equal to 1. We are applying here Cauchy nth root test, if you remember. Cauchy nth root test say that if an is a series, then 1 over n power n less than or equal to 1. Strictly less than 1, it is always convergent. So the remember that it is by the Cauchy nth root test. Cauchy nth root test say 1 power 1 by n limit n goes to infinity strictly less than 1 convergent equal to 1 fail greater than 1 divergent. Okay. Okay. So, all right, I believe that now you are able to calculate the radius of convergence of a function and of a series as well of any examination, including your CSIR, NBHM, GRE, PSC, whatever exam you are writing. If somebody writing the assistant professor exam, there is always one question. Sometimes it is two questions of the radius of convergence. And after 6 months, huge employment will come. So be ready, you guys. Okay, right. So one more question I can see. It is in IISC. Also, it was in PIFR and CSRI for NBHM. The question was z raised power n factorial. Then radius of convergence. First option is 1. Second is infinite. Third one is 0. Fourth one is n. N factorial. All right. Okay, no problem. Again, this is a power series. We are going to extend this from the point 0 and we are looking under what condition this series expansion and the function agree each other. This is not true in the real analysis. Okay, so let's see. Z power n factorial whole power 1 upon n, taking the supremum of the absolute value, limit n goes to the infinity, it should be less than or equal to 1. So, Z, if you see that, if you apply mod z raised to the power n factorial by n, right, into the limit of power due to power of limit, this limit and supremum is less than or equal to 1. For this, we have to calculate the distance from 0, so keep it here. So z minus 0, keep it here. This will come out our radius of convergence. This is the less than or equal to 1 raised to the power n by n factorial. Right? Which is nothing, the simply 1. So the answer first is correct. Be all right? Okay.
In general, if we have a constant, no matter the power of z, if we have some constants with as coefficients, the power series always has radius of convergence 1, right?
Yeah, so you are asking here since 1 is constant, right? You are telling.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
with z, no matter what power z has, if we just have constants, an as constant. I mean,
Yes.
then radius of convergence is always 1.
Yes. Yes. Anyway, so actually it looks very easy if we can go that way. But if you start applying the formula, something like an upon something, in the books have written, people used to teach like, right, this ratio, this test, that test, then definitely you will die that way. And you have to remember also before exam, En upon En plus 1 or En upon En plus 1, right? And also some people, I know some of my students, I mean, they asked some question later, they told me that they calculated radius of convergence, but in the book it written something 1 upon R. And then at the end, he forget that whatever he calculated, he had to put 1 over R. And he kept directly R. That's where the value came, right? Okay. So, there are some more questions. So, the question is, question, homework. Consider the power series a n z power n, right? It is given where a n is number of divisors of n power 50. Number of divisors of n power 50. Then radius of convergence is the first, two, third, and the fourth. The option is 1, 5, 0, 1 over 5, 0, and the 0. Okay. So this question is something related to the tau n. If you remember that n is the number of divisors. In modern algebra, we used to calculate the divisor of some number, right? N raised to the power 50. So anyway, let us apply our rule. The rule is say an z power n whole power 1 by n limit over supremum less than or equal to 1. So simply our z, which is nothing, the radius of convergence is, right, 1 upon an is number of divisors of n power 50. So tau of n power 50. So we are taking the supremum of the limit, right? Limit over the supremum. All right. So this is the homework for you. Just tell me the value, and that will be your answer. Okay. Just see something about this divisor function tau n. It is useful in the modern algebra. We used to calculate some number, and somebody aware it, then they know it is nothing. This is simply 1. Okay. So the answer will be the 1. Everyone have done the BSc. I believe that you are aware about the divisors. Otherwise, if not, we will discuss in detail during the modern algebra. Okay. We will do all R&D. The way we are flowing, complex analysis, we are taking some question from modern algebra and something. When we will discuss the modern algebra, it will not be the modern algebra. It will include your complex analysis, real analysis completely. Okay. So one more question I had, somebody sent me. limit. So right. Okay, so another question is radius of convergence of the series is z raised to the power minus n square. Am I right? Plus n square. N is greater than or equal to 0. The first option 0, second is 1, the third one is 2, the fourth one is infinity. Tell me again what to do. Limit over supremum, or I used to write here mod z raised to the power n square whole power my n equal to 1. Again, this mod z will come out of answer. It is all right. So again, what I am telling you, in your CSIR, you have to close your eye. One question will be definitely there. Just take 1 over 1 power n, cancel it out, and whatever number will come, that will be your radius of convergence. So, see, I cannot take all the example, and believe me, all questions are like that, same thing, same kind. Now this is your task. Go see all previous year question paper, CSIR, NBHM, GRE, all the question paper available online. Calculate it. If you are not able to calculate, drop your message in the group or in the Facebook. We will solve it together. But every time you have to take 1 over 1 by n and take the limit supremum less than or equal to 1. This will give you a radius of convergence. I believe that it is very simple, so we should not waste our time calculating this time and again, right? If it is a time pass, then it is good platform to keep on calculating. But believe me, it is very easy. Now it is your homework for you. You have to calculate the radius of convergence throughout all the CSIR exam, all the NBHM paper, all the ISC papers also available. You can look at it. Some JAM papers also available. You can get some ISER paper also. Okay. Trust me, now you are able to calculate. It's not joke, it's serious. So calculating the power series now the end. Another thing, we can write something more also. Write one more question. So you can write sometime they can give you like this, if you remember. The radius of convergence of the series 1 plus z square by 2 factorial plus z cube by 3 factorial and so on. Tell me. Then, okay, oh, sorry, I have so many messages. Let's see. Okay, very good. People are replying. Nice. So I have a series, see, 1 plus z square by 2 plus z cube by 3 and so on. If you see, you don't need to write in the series form. If you see it is nothing, the exponential function. And if it is an exponential function, we are great enough to know if I start stretching it out from the 0, this function has no cavity at all. This is a solid everywhere. So the radius of convergence will be infinity. Okay? Okay. So let us write some analysis, some implication questions based on the radius of convergence. Okay. Can you please discuss the radius of convergence where E is equal to 2n factorial 1 upon n square. Of course, I can discuss, but it is my request. You can just try calculate, put 1 over n. That's all. It is my request to you. You can just try whatever number is given 2n factorial 1 over n square. Just take 1 over n and calculate limit. If you are not able to calculate, then we will discuss it. Sure, we will discuss. Okay. Okay, all right. So, some implication question. Implications. So, our implication will be pick up incorrect statement. Okay. Let's radius of convergence of analytic function f is r. Also, the radius of convergence of another function g is also r1 and the r2. Then, no. Okay, no problem. The first option. Radius of convergence of f plus g, you have to calculate. Second option, radius of convergence of f by z or g by f, we have to calculate this. You can think on it. Third option, the radius of convergence is f raised to the power g, meaning f composition or radius of convergence of f to the power n and g raised to the power n. You have to calculate it. The fourth one is okay, some people are asking some question. Let's see. Our radius convergence will be 0, I guess. Yeah, maybe. So, something else can be written. Yes. So, FOG and GOF, if it is defined. And I think that is sufficient. So, this is the homework for you. Think and discuss properly one by one question. Otherwise, we will think on it together and we will do. Okay. We will solve it together. Okay, so yes, FG means F by G. This is the F by G, G by F. It is division if defined. It is division. F by G and G by F is division. Okay, G. So my question is pick up incorrect statement. Pick up incorrect statement. Let us start. The first one. Yes, multiplication can be defined. Yes, well, multiplication always defined. Right? You can multiply into function. Okay, so pick up the incorrect statement. There exists a function f. Here exists a function f with here is a function f has no singularity has no singularity outside of the radius of convergence. See, this is the question that I learned from you, right? Just 2 minutes before somebody asked this question, and I felt it is interesting. So this is the way of learning also, right? The next one. Okay, so some question people are asking. I got a 2 messages. I tried to find the limit using the sandwich theorem. I got limit answer here. Yeah, I think if you, yeah, that is also fine, Pravisha. That will be your answer. You can apply this theorem. I am not going in deep because we didn't go through it. But this is the right. I think it is the right answer also, as I see. So there is a function f has no singularity outside of the radius of convergence. Next question. There is a function f what should I write? Now f has similarity outside the domain. F has singularity outside of the radius of convergence. Means we are able to write a function has similarity outside of the radius of convergence. In the first option, A, there is no similarity at all, right, for a function. So careful for a function, this is not a sufficient condition. The third one. Okay, let's see. There exists a function f has there is a function f which is not analytic, which is not analytic within the radius of convergence. The four option. You people also say some option G. Tell me some interesting. How can I think alone? Please keep on replying. You also tell at least some option right. Single brain cannot think the good question if you want to learn something, right? At least if you will say something, maybe I can learn from that and I can write some options also. Anybody tell me some interesting statement? Okay, so somebody reply. Okay, no reply. So please tell me. Okay, so any other options? Tell me some good statement based on it. Anybody? Okay, there exist functions f and g. There exists function f and g such that the radius of convergence of f plus g is equal to the radius of convergence of f plus radius of convergence of g. there exists a function such that the radius of convergence of f into g is equal to radius of convergence of f into radius of convergence of g. The sixth option is uh,
Radius of convergence of f plus g is equal to minimum of radius of convergence of f comma g. One you can construct one option there. ROC of f plus g equal to minimum of just an option.
okay, fine,
Minimum of radius.
Okay, radius of convergence of f
Minimum
plus
radius of convergence of f comma g.
minimum of very nice. Radius of convergence. I think
Minimum of
this is a question in your CSIR exam, right? Once. Because some student asked about this. Okay. All right. You can put one more option if you want. And you have to also write at least two statement, right? Two options, please write. You have to write a two statement. Similarly, if you want to crack the exam, if you want good mark, if you want good rank, so please learn how to write it, right? Or how to image it. So imagination is very important. It will give you a test how to find out the answer also. Okay, let's see. I have so many reply. So there exists a function f, limit point of f is equal to the radius of an. Okay, yes, yeah, this is also nice. So all right. Anyway, so okay, so shall I erase this? Okay, shall I erase this? Okay, let us erase this. Some outside of the radius. Okay, there is analytic. There exists function which is not analytic within the radius of convergence as well, outside of the radius of convergence. There is okay. Okay. Thank you. Everyone thinking nicely. So let us erase this. Let me drink some water. Okay, so one interesting question in the CSIR, let F is holomorphic on C. What is the meaning of this? This implies that a function is entire function. And for every A belong to R, okay, then Fz is equal to summation z minus a to the power n into Cn n greater than or equal to 0. So at least some Ci0 here, some Ci0, not all. or at least one CI. Or leave it, remove this, no problem. Okay. So what is telling, if f is holomorphic function, f is entire function, we can write the power series expansion, right, around any point, but here in the question it is given that for any choice of real number a, we have a representation. We have a power series representation about any real number. All right. Similarly, we can say we have a representation. Not to speak of only real number, we have a representation throughout the whole complex plane also. Then the option is, the first option say, anyway, so there are so many messages. Let's look at it once. Yes, that is same as no finality. I cannot say that. Anandji, you think on it again. So, okay. So, yes. So the first option is f raised to the power n is equal to 0. Meaning the nth derivative is equal to 0 for infinitely many n. Infinitely many n. Second option. The f raised to the power 2n at 0 is equal to 0 for all n. The third option is f raised to the power 2n plus 1 at 0 is equal to 0 for every n. The fourth option, there exists a function, there exists a k positive such that f raised to the power k at 0 is equal to 0 for all n greater than or equal to k. Okay, so okay, think. Okay, so I am giving you 2 minutes, guys. Please think properly. So, are there my audio and video fine, or is there any issue? Ardra? Hello?
Hello, yes, can you hear me?
I'm asking audio and video are fine.
Yeah, fine.
Acha, I'm removing this headphone jack. Now is it the same or is there some difference?
It's the same.
Exactly same or little bit different?
I feel it's same.
Okay. Okay, so 2 minutes, please think properly and let me know. Read it 2 times, please. Please read the question 2 times. Anybody have please answer? Please you can text me. I am looking your answer. People can send me. Okay, if we take the exponential function, Sonia telling that then all are false. Very nice. There is a function, then for all above option are true. Okay, very nice. I am happy that people are replying. Okay, so the answer credit goes to the Sonia ji. She answered, she telling that if we take fz is equal to exponential of z, simply this is a function analytic everywhere, meaning hey, we can write this function in the form of solid everywhere in the plane, not to speak about the real line. Yes, then all these options will be failed. So neither this, neither this, neither this, all will be false. It is all right to everyone? Okay? Okay. Once you understood, hey, this is the wrong, then in your exam, do not fill more than one circle. Do not waste your time, right? What we will do that, we will fill one circle and you will definitely get 4.75 mark. If the question is wrong, if you have attempted it, then only you will get mark, right? The mark will be awarded. Okay, so let's see other answer. Yes. Abhishek asking here some CI are 0, right? Why? No need, right? Okay. Thank you. So the next step is I want to make some changes here. The changes is following. Right? So it will be again homework for you. If not possible, then we will discuss it again. So out of it, I am going to write 2 questions. So the question 1.
So the last option, how do we do the last option for this exam? The
This one here is to take positive.
Greater than last option.
Yes, yes. So this is also wrong, right?
This happens only if the this happens only if we have polynomials, right? Polynomial functions. But exponential function has infinitely many terms in power series. So how do we so how can we take that example for fourth one?
No. Here it is written, see the question telling holomorphicity. So if I am taking a holomorphic function, definitely I will take the granted of this question also. This option is not satisfying for this also. This implies that this option cannot be true. It is true definitely for a polynomial, but not true for exponential. But the given question for is a sufficient condition. I means whenever such a representation this, then they telling it will satisfy. Right? It is not mentioned that f is polynomial first of all. Pravisha, is it all right? The
No,
question
but
is,
I was confused because it mentioned there exists a k greater than or equal to 0, such that
ah,
fk, and this is
so
true only if we have polynomial functions. Like
yes.
n, yeah.
But he is not telling if option is written like this way. This is true for a function, then that is true. It is not written. He is telling there exists a k positive. He giving the guarantee for the k, but if you can say there exists a k positive and a function f, then this will be definitely true. But the function is already given. He telling and writing the power series around every point. Okay, so what I am telling that the given data of the question, no option will qualify. What I want to tell you is this.
Yes, I got it now. Yeah.
What I want to tell you is this. If the question is this, then pick up the incorrect statement, then this all will qualify. So this is again a question and very interesting question. Anyway, so based on this question, I am giving you two questions, two implication I have. So the first one, I am removing this. And A belong to R. Then, anybody? My question is, the changing for every choice of the real number, I am telling you, I am not changing every choice, I am fixing my point A. I am writing this power series expansion of an entire function. Then, this is the homework for you. So, first of all, you have to understand in previous question, what is the meaning for giving for every A? Is there something meaning or not? That's what I'm asking you. Anyway, write it one more question and then I'm going to write another question based on it. Write it fast. Let's see some reply. Okay. But somebody asking, but option is there exists, right? No, we don't need that was some option to be true. Okay, somebody giving some hint, he telling that take a constant function, that's all right. If I take a constant function, then definitely everything will satisfy. But if I take, what is the problem? Why are you taking a constant function? I can take this function also. So there is no restriction in the choosing the function. This is a sufficient condition. So you have to think on it properly. So another question. Okay, somebody else also asking. So the question is, I think no problem at all by changing A. Yeah, there is no problem, but I do not want that. If you want, you can write one more. Will be one more question. Anyway, all right. So I want some modification here. The modification is. Hmm. Okay, so now I'm going to add at least one CI0. The second question, the first question I gave you homework. Now my second question is F is holomorphic A in R, right? Do not write them here, and then we should start from here. Fz is equal to summation over Cn z minus n power n. Here the restriction is at least one Ci is 0. Then this is the very important question, especially for interview. If you go in IIS, they will always ask such a kind of question. Okay. Okay, shall I erase this, right? Okay, so okay, let's give me 1 minute. I'm looking some more good questions. If it is here. Anyway, all right. So yes, I want to write one more question. So the homework is, let me repeat again the identity theorem and power series and also the Lorentz series. These are problem we have done. Okay. Similar question. There are so many problems in your in the previous year paper in CSIR and BHM that you can look at it your own. Okay. Anyway, at the end your test series will start. In the test series, everything will be covered, right? Because test series will be 3 test series in a week. Okay. So definitely everything will come together. So they will discuss more question there. Okay. So, but I want to write one more question. Let's give me 1 minute. Uh, I wanted to write. So, okay. So the question is, I think I had written this question, but again I'm writing. Uh, let F is a holomorphic on a unit disk, and G is also a holomorphic on center 1, 2, and 1. 2 iota and 1. Okay. All right. F and G are okay. So it should be F and G are holomorphic. Okay. Holomorphic. This is the holomorphic in the unit disk, center 0, radius 1. This is the holomorphic, center at 2 iota, radius is 1. Okay. So is it clear? So we have two solid functions in the neighborhood of 0, in the neighborhood of 2 iota. Then the first one, F is equal to G everywhere. The second is F is equal to Z everywhere on this intersection, this 2 iota 1. The third option is F is equal to Z everywhere on del union this 2 iota into 1. The fourth option is uh, okay. You can see similar question in VHM, ISI, GRE, and CSIR also in the date also. Okay, in 2 minutes, so I can drink water. Just 1 minute, give me. I'm coming back again. Only 2 minutes. Okay, so let us start again. It's all right. Okay, so there are some messages. Let's read it again. So if we talk the cos z, I think it will satisfy f power 2n plus 1 is equal to 0. Rest will satisfy. Anyway, okay, keep it up. Very good. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so let's see. Okay. So yeah, I want to tell you first of all, and today is I think Tuesday, na? So yes, we will finish the complex analysis this week with all the problems also. Tomorrow we will start function and we will start the function and also the conformal. These two we will cover in this week and that will be the end of your complex analysis. And after that, do you have some choice that which paper that you want to start? If somebody there have something, and once your complex analysis over, then you have to be ready for test series also. That will give you sufficient boost at the end of the test series of the complex analysis. Right? So there are people are telling I need, some people telling algebra, real analysis, many more, right? So anyway, I will send you the Google, then you can decide. I will send all the papers and the majority we will start whatever paper you will say. Okay. Okay. But the mind it, if we will start the whatever, say, I mean real analysis, or if we are going to start the modern algebra or the linear algebra, then that algebra, that the paper, I mean that will include the complex analysis completely. We will play inside that paper, our instrument will be the complex analysis also. Similarly, for example, suppose we are going to start the modern algebra, then we will play complex analysis there. And once the modern algebra over, then our next paper, whatever, I mean, suppose this is the real analysis, then in real analysis we will have the game and the tool we will use to employ from the modern algebra and the complex analysis as well. So what we are going to do, we are going to build a setup in which we will always recall all the property of complex analysis or real analysis, everything. All the mathematics are same, it does not miss. You have gone through that complex is different from modern and something like that, right? Because you have gone through such a kind of, but it is not the case. If you just, you can think it is the same. So anyway, we are finishing the complex analysis this week, and then I will send you the Google sheet. Here you can vote it, or here are also polling option are available. You can look at it, and we will start that paper. Anyway, but day by day you have to be ready, because once I will start the new paper, your test series also will start together. Okay, thank you. So there are many messages. People are telling the video is blur. Okay, let me give you very nice video. See. I believe that right now the video is very good. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, yes. Ask some question again. So, for question, let's see the exponential function. Right? We know that the exponential function fz is equal to e to power z. Z can be written as e to power x plus iota y. This we used to write real part plus imaginary part. We say sometimes it is w also. So this is the function. We also notice that f of will come out e to power z plus 2 pi iota. It will be simply e to power z. Similarly, if I add z plus or minus 2 pi iota, it will be z minus 2 pi iota. It will be z. Similarly, if I add plus minus 4 pi iota, it will be simply e to power z. Similarly, if I add z plus minus some k pi iota or any arbitrary integers, multiple of 2n, or leave it. So what I want to that f of z plus minus 2k pi iota, it will be e raised to the power z plus minus 2k pi I will be e to the power z provided k belong to integer only. So there are some messages. Yeah, okay. I think now fine. Right now, Richa, the video is fine.
Yes, sir.
Richa, can you hear?
Yes, sir, it is fine.
Thank you, thank you. Okay. So, what is the meaning? If you see that it repeating its point after 2 pi iota, minus 2 pi iota, 4 pi iota, 2k pi iota, and so on. If you see that the same point after 2 pi iota same, this directly implies that this is minimum function, right? Or this is not one function. In complex analysis, the one function is known as the univalent function. In complex analysis, the one function is known as the univalent function. We know that from the real analysis, if function is not univalent, we can make it one by the help of its restriction. We can impose the restriction of its domain in order to get the single value, in order to get the univalent function. So whenever we do not have the univalent, what we will do? Restrict the domain. It become a univalent function. See here. Here you had z. Now after 2 pi iota, same. Again 2 pi iota. So we can impose, hey, don't cross the 2 pi iota. Then the function become univalent, right? Okay, so if also we can remember that in real analysis, right? In real analysis, the exponential function is not periodic, but here it is periodic function, right? So we have some observation. In real analysis, the exponential function is not periodic. So the first one, exponential function is a periodic function with period. Can anybody tell me what is the period of the function? Tell fast. What will be the period? Period will be 2 pi iota, 4 pi iota, and so on. So these are all the period of the exponential function in the complex analysis. Anybody have any doubts? So please tell me. Periodic of of period and also periodic of period is purely imaginary number, right? Imaginary number. Because the iota are present, real part is 0. So exponential function is periodic, of period is imaginary number. All right. It must be least. Okay. No. Period is same. See, the definition of period is there is no such a thing that you can put at least something. Okay. So you can say it is also. But there is some word, right? First of all, the all are periodic. And this is also the period also. But can you say something about the 2 pi iota? Anji, anybody can say
Fundamental
2
period.
pi iota?
Fundamental period. And that's what I
Yes,
was
yes.
trying to.
The fundamental period of exponential z is 2 pi iota. Can anybody say that why the 2 pi iota is fundamental period? Why not minus 2 pi iota? The question is very simple, right? Why not minus 2 pi iota? Homework. These are the questions. Believe me, you should have the answer. Right? Because after some time you will appear for interview, they will ask this very simple question. You have to answer. Such answer you cannot get from book. You have to think on it, your own. And that will give you the selection. Okay, all right. So, can I write also, if function, can you tell me a periodic function? Do we have a function which is periodic and 1 No, right? Periodic means it is repeating its value, right? So, we can say if function is periodic, it cannot be univalent, right? If any function is periodic, so periodicity cannot imply the univalent because periodicity means it's repeating. So okay, we are going to look in univalent exponential function. So if we remember, see, e raised to the power z mod, what it will be? This will be simply e to the power x plus iota y. This will come out e to the power x into e to the power iota y. This cos square sin square will be 1, so simply this will come out e to the power x. Correct? So the absolute value of exponential function is nothing e to the power x, which is a non-negative real number. This implies that e raised to the power z, right, minus 0 is equal to e to the power x. What is this if I remember? If you can notice, this is a disk center 0, or we can write this is a collection of all those z of the C such that the okay. So no. Give me 1 minute. Yes. So this is a disk center 0, radius e to the power x. What kind of function they are expecting? The distance from 0 of this form e to power z and 0 should be like, right? So collection of all those, this belong to here. Or if you have problem, do not write this. I want to tell something else. So we know that if I write here a complex analysis here, suppose this is our C, real axis, this is our imaginary axis. So here will be our function, exponential function, e to power z. This is the real part, so I can say it is u. This is, I can say it is v. C. So yeah, let me repeat again. The function is purely imaginary, right? The periodic, the exponential function is the periodic of the fundamental period 2 pi iota. This implies that if I put some value, right? So 2 pi iota means that it will repeat its value after 2 pi iota. Implies that if I write here some number, say it is the pi, and say it is the minus pi, right? So this implies that the whole complex plane, e to power z, the exponential function contains all these values in a strip of this type. The value of whole complex plane under the exponential function will contain in this strip, right? See, if we notice that the function is periodic, period is imaginary number, that's why the function is bounded along this number, right? See, the function is bounded along the imaginary axis, but function is not bounded along the real axis. So the whole complex plane, the exponential function will, all the output of the complex plane under exponential function will lie in this strip. Okay. In this region, your function will be the 1, 1. So exponential function will be the 1, 1, right? Is univalent. Tell me the region if theta is less than pi and greater than minus pi. Okay. Okay, there are some questions. And also, I want to tell something more. Wait one more minute. Yes, so I wanted to write. Yes, so if period is real, purely real, implies that the function is bounded along real axis. If period is purely imaginary, implies that the function is bounded along imaginary axis. If period is real, purely real and purely imaginary also, then your function will be bounded on the C. You can write this. In real analysis, we had only one variable. We have one choice, left or right. In the complex, we have two variables, real axis and the imaginary axis. If function is bounded along real axis and imaginary axis, then we will say it is the bounded function. In other words, if a function is periodic along real axis, we say it is a bounded. If function along imaginary axis, if it is periodic, then we say it is the periodic along the imaginary axis. We have seen, for example, the exponential function. in the real analysis, it is not bounded around that the exponential function is not periodic in the real analysis. Okay, so there are some questions. Fundamental period is always unique.
Also, one more question.
So
When we find the fundamental period, we just list down all the positive periods and then take their infimum, right?
yes, yes,
So it must be always positive, I guess.
yes,
Fundamental period. So that
yes,
is the reason minus 2 pi I is not a
yes,
fundamental period.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm again repeating that our exponential function is not univalent, but what we did that if we impose the condition according to the theta minus pi, or you also can write in your exam this less than 2 pi and greater than 0. You can write many more, right? You can write theta less than pi greater than minus pi. You can write theta less than pi by 2 greater than minus pi by 2 and many more ways. So this is our exponential function. We have seen the exponential function is a periodic of period 2 pi iota. Okay, which is bounded along imaginary axis but not along the real axis. That's why in complex analysis it is not bounded. Okay. Let us calculate the argument, right? Exponential function, you tell me, what is exponential function? Is a function, so we can calculate the argument, right? Okay, let us calculate it. So, or you can try home, argument of e to power z. This will be, tell me, capital argument of e to power z plus 2n pi iota n belong to integers. Exponential function can be written as e to power x plus iota y. This can be written as e to power x. This can be written as cos y plus iota sin y. This can be written as e to power x cos y plus iota times e to power x sin y. So the arctan alpha will be alpha or capital argument of e to power z will be tan inverse imaginary part upon the real part. This will come out tan inverse e to power x sin y upon e to power x cos y. Right? This will come out simply y. So the arguments came out y plus 2n pi iota n belong to integers. All right. It is very simple to everyone, right? Okay.
Hello, sir.
Anji,
Hello.
tell me. Yes, tell
Sir,
me.
exponential, that means exponential z is the multivalued function.
Repeat again.
Exponential z is the multivalued function
Exponential z is single value, not multi-value.
because it is a periodic. That means period 2 pi I is the single valued, convert into the single valued function also.
No, my dear. Exponential function is a single valued function. It is not a multi-valued function.
Okay.
The periodicity means more than one point giving the same output. It does not mean that at one point you are getting more output, right? Multi-valued function means we have more than one output at a point.
Okay.
Here,
Okay. And repeat, sir. Repeat.
yes.
Sir. Repeat again. This sentence. Repeat again.
Multi-valued means we have output. We have more than one output at a point.
Okay.
Right? Again, I am repeating, for multi-valued function means we should have more than one output at least one point. For single, in these cases, we have one output, not we have only one output, C, right? Or we have at most one output, right? No, I'm sorry, extremely sorry. We have, this is a many one function, meaning we do not have such a point at which we have more than one output. That's what I'm telling. See, this is kind of mapping. This is a single value function. This is not a mapping of this kind. Right? This is not here. You have more than one point have same output. So it does not imply it is a multi-valued function. Multi-valued function means one point mapped to the more than one point. Then we say it is a multi-valued function. So exponential function is not a multi-valued function. We do not have more than one output, right? On any input of our complex plane. Is it all right?
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Correct.
Okay. So let's see some answer there. Audio and video are not, video is not going well. There are, it is good. If somebody have problem, they can rejoin it again. Okay. People can rejoin again. Anyway, so if we okay, we can write one question on it. So let's e raised to the power 1 plus iota. Correct? Then I'm asking, the first option will be the argument of e raised to the power 1 plus iota. This is a complex number, so I can ask here what will be this, right? So tell me what will be the answer? Yes, tell me the capital argument. Second, the small argument of e to the power 1 plus iota is 1 plus 2n pi iota and belong to integer. Third option is, now this is the multi-value. Okay. And anything, do you have? None of the above. And the argument of e to the power 1 plus iota is go to. So see, if you compare, this will be correct and this will be correct. Okay. So there are some more messages. And yeah, okay, all right. Sometime I am not able to see all the chat because I am alone here. After, I think, I believe that after, July onward, one staff will be here always, and he will keep on replying you also. Okay. Okay, so all right. So, uh, so some observation we have. The first one, if I have a periodic function, if I have a periodic function or many one function, many to one function, what is the meaning of this? This implies that we have many input at which we have single output, right? If either we have a periodic function or a many to one or many one function, it's meaning that more than one input mapping to a single point or singleton point, right? This is the preliminary condition for periodicity or the many to one function. So if I ask, or in your during your interview or in your CSIR examination or any examination, immediately you think whenever periodicity means more than one input mapping to a single point, many one function means mapping more than one point to a single function. So whenever if you got some idea, hey, can you tell me the inverse of periodic functions? Many to one function is there, how the inverse will look like? Then you will answer, hey, yes, the periodicity means more than one point mapping to the single point. If I ask the inverse, definitely one point is going to map the more than one point. So whenever the inverse of periodic function or many one function always a multi-valued function. Whenever we have a periodic function or many one function, then the inverse always a multi-valued function. See for the example, exponential function is periodic of period 2 pi iota. Sin z is a period of period 2 pi. Cos z is a periodic of period 2 pi. This implies that this inverse these are multi-value functions. So during your interview or in your examination, whenever some function is given, you have to just look its inverse. If cos inverse z is given, you will immediately think that, hey, its inverse is a periodic function. So definitely this function will be a multi-value function. This much only we can say. If I have a sin z, this is a periodic, so definitely sin inverse z is a multi-value function. The inverse of exponential function, we know that something logarithmic also. So logarithmic, in real analysis, log x is inverse of exponential function, right? But in real analysis, exponential function is not periodic, in complex it is periodic. So if I ask what will be the inverse, if you say it is log z something, then first of all it will be multi-value function. So these are the some ideas. If somebody will ask, can you tell me something about this? So your first answer should be, hey, this is a multi-valued function. Hey, this is the multi-valued function. Hey, this is the multi-valued function. But also remember that if it is a multi-valued function, somebody then asks, hey, how is this? It is not a multi-valued function. So the question is, if you have a multi-valued function, if I ask something its inverse, this will be always single-valued function. Okay. Vice versa. If I take the inverse of this again, then again we will get the multi-valued function. So these are some ideas how to connect these. Okay. So last we are going to solve one equation, or in your exam sometime they will ask, tell me the how many solutions of a equation have. So yes, so the first one, let Z be a fixed point, then find solution for W. Here Z is fixed. Now you tell me the solution. Unique solution. Second one is no solution. Infinitely many solutions. Uncountable solution. Okay, so we need to find a W. Tell how to find the W. Okay, let us solve this together. So, any hints, anybody please? You can also write one more question based on it. So this and second is sin W is equal to Z. Third one, cos W is equal to Z. And the fourth one, tan W is equal to Z. Right? It is all right to everyone? Okay. So I am trying the first one. Let W is equal to U plus iota V are the solution. Let W is equal to the solutions for W. So there are many questions. Somebody taking log. Who told you to take log? First of all, tell me. We cannot take log. We do not know what is log at all. So you please do not say in examination or in any interview that take log. In exam, you cannot take the log. Such a mistake, please never, don't do. It will be very bad impact. Okay. E to power e raised to power W is equal to 0. Then not means taking log both sides. That will not lead anywhere. Anyway, so I think it will be better if I can give you a homework, right? You can think on it. E raised to the power W is equal to Z. Now you have to calculate simply U and V. Once you got the U and V, that is your answer. Right? This is written E raised to the power W plus iota V. Yes, so tell me, only we have to calculate U and V, nothing more than that. We know that V is nothing but the argument of e raised to the power argument of Z, simply, right? We have seen this, huh? V is nothing, it is an argument of Z. What else is remaining? Now we need to calculate the U, right? Not more, nothing else. So if you want to calculate the U, so take, see, this is the U, sorry. So e raised to the power U plus iota V is equal to Z. Take the modulus both sides This is a complex number, this is a complex number, so we can take the modulus. Fantastic. It will come out a raised to the power u is equal to mod z. Now we are in real analysis. Once we are in real analysis, now I can write u is equal to log z. Now our answer is u plus iota v is equal to nothing log mod z plus iota time argument of the z. This can be written as log mod z plus iota time capital argument of z plus 2n pi iota n belong to the integers. Is it all right to everyone? So I am requesting everyone, at least in interview, they always look how the way you are approaching. Okay, all right. In interview, whatever you are thinking, even this is not right way, so do not say at least. They always look the way you are thinking. This is the very precise. So tell me how many solutions. I think this is a very easy way to calculate. And now we have an infinite solution. Think on it. But I think this answer will be true. If anybody have any doubt, please ask now. And I believe that I need the solution for W tomorrow. Everyone have to calculate the value for W here, here, here. So out of 3, at least you should have a 2 solution, either for second or the third. The answer will not be the same as I think, but maybe I am not sure. Okay. So tomorrow we have this solution. Tomorrow you will provide me solution of this, and then we will play some, geometry tomorrow. Okay? Is it all right? Shall we end up here? Okay. Thank you everyone. See you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.